Hello and welcome to the Arsenal Women's Chat Show, where we are live across the Arsenal Women's Chat Show, the Mr. Arsenal podcast, and the Highbury Fans Forever YouTube channels. Tonight, I'm obviously joined by my amazing guest, as usual. I'll come to you, Amanda. How are you feeling after Saturday's game?
Yeah, awesome. It was a great match. The sun was shining. Yeah, it was actually warm for the first time in like months. So it was a beautiful day. Good stuff.
Sunshine's always the way forward, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah.
Us in Scotland don't see it much, but when we do see it, we're happy. Kev, hello, how are you doing? Are you happy with that score?
Oh, yes. That was something I've been waiting for a little while now. Performance like that. So, yeah, as Amanda said, with the sun shining, fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a kind of scoreline you've been hoping for a while, innit? You've been saying somebody's going to get a right good battering off Arsenal, and of course it was West Ham, who at the moment I do feel sorry for. They have a good team, but something's just not clicking there for them. So unfortunately,
It was like that last year. They were just that little bit off.
Was it for us last year against West Ham? I tell you that, Kev.
The 4-3 was a good one.
They sent us a few heart attacks. That's what they sent us. Paul, how you doing?
Yeah, all good. I was enjoying getting the constant text messages from Esme from the stadium, keeping me well informed of the score. So that cheered me up while working.
It's always good when you're getting updates from a match that you unfortunately can't make in it. That's the way we feel sometimes, us in Scotland, when we can't make a game. We see so many people at the games and you're like, oh, I just wish I would have been there. But travel, obviously, it gets to us sometimes. I'll just obviously say hello to a few people in the chat tonight before we move into, obviously, the West Ham game on Saturday. Hello, Catherine. I hope you're good. I don't know why my husband's come in and evening all when he's right beside me. And yeah. Hi, Chad. Hello. I hope you're well. Of course, if you haven't subscribed or sent any comments or anything in, then please do. Please subscribe to all the channels that was obviously mentioned in the introduction there. And yeah, there's so much content across the board from all those channels, and yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll love them if you love Arsenal. So obviously, let's get straight into the West Ham game at the weekend, where Arsenal they started off the game really, really well, and of course it takes 4 minutes for Arsenal to get a goal, and that goal obviously at first we thought, Paul, that it came from Stina Blackstenius, and I was adamant that goal was scored by Stina Blackstenius until we see Chloe Kelly posting up that she had got a player of the match and a hat trick, which I don't know where that came from. So, who do you actually think scored that goal?
Well, I've only just managed to catch the highlights, and it's the angles that I saw it. It's too close to call. Yeah, I'm not sure whether Stina got that touch or not. I really couldn't say.
Yeah, I did say, Amanda, that I don't think that goal was going in from Chloe Kelly from that shot. If Stina doesn't get a touch on it, or a West Ham defender doesn't get a touch on it, which I don't think there was a West Ham defender that close to it. So to me, the only person that was close to it was Stina. I think that should have been awarded to her.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you couldn't see in the stadium. We couldn't tell. And it took them ages to put the thing up on the screen and play the music and everything. I think they were trying to figure out also who scored. I haven't seen it back on telly, but it didn't look like a shot from Chloe Kelly. And apparently Stina said she said she didn't get a touch on it. But, it's a bit sad for Chloe Kelly, really, if that's how she gets a hat trick, kind of like after the event, like, well done. But I don't know. I'm like you, Laura. I think probably Stina maybe got like a little touch on it, but
We won't know unless Stina comes out herself and says, listen, I did get a touch on that and that was taken away from me. Unfortunately, I don't think Stina's the type of person that would ever come out and say, do you know what, I did get a touch on that. I think she's just probably happy at this point to give Chloe Kelly the credit. So, yeah, do you know what? I don't really care who scored at the end of the day. I'm just happy that it took 4 minutes for Arsenal to get a goal. I think, Kev, we started off really, really strong. We didn't do what Arsenal usually does, and it's get the goal and then sit back. They really came at West Ham. They fired at them. They just kept coming and kept coming. And of course, in the first half, we were really dominant, to be honest with you. But it was 7 shots on target compared to West Ham's 1. And it's just unlucky that some of those shots obviously didn't hit the back of the net. And it, Kevin?
That and a few bloody good saves from Shemik, is it?
Yeah.
And yeah, that conversation must have taken place at half time between Stina and Chloe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we knew full well that come the second half, when they were coming down our end, it was going to change. They're going to start banging some in.
Yeah. You know, there was some fire celebrations coming your way when heading towards that way, if goals went in, then Chloe Kelly and Olivia Smith were going to give you those celebrations. Amanda, what did you think the difference was going into, obviously, the second half? Like, what do you think Renee had obviously asked the girls to change a little bit in terms of getting more goals? As I said, it wasn't going our way in terms of shots, but the second half, they came out a completely different team. So to me, Renee has obviously got to have said something to them. What did you think that was possibly?
Definitely. Yeah, I think she said that they discussed details at half time. I don't know what details, probably like, how to actually get it in the net, because they had I don't know, maybe they had we must have had 4 or 5 shots that, got saved or whatever. We could have had so many more in that first half. But it was like someone had put a rocket up them in the second half, and obviously, got a sackful, which was a nice way for it to go.
Yeah, I think we came out so much stronger in the second half, and we could clearly see the bigger change when they came back out in terms of shooting and stuff. I'm just going to go into the comments before I move on to obviously the second half of the game, because we've got really a lot to discuss tonight, because obviously we have the preview of Chelsea tomorrow in the Champions League as well. So I'll try and get through a few comments before I move on to the second half. James said that Stina's goal was daylight robbery. Again, wasn't us that took it off her. It was Catherine had said that the WSL has now credited the goal to Chloe as well. Hello, Olivia. I hope you're okay. And that's nice to know that your mum's called Laura as well. Laura's a very popular name. We went to a real stadium. Is that the Emirates? I don't know if that's what you're meaning, if you're meaning that. Maybe that's why Stina went running to Chloe after the ball hit the net, obviously talking about where Stina runs towards Chloe and does her usual Steph Catley pat in the head that we call it. She gave Chloe a good old pat in the head. Morning, Mark. I hope you're well. I hope you're okay after obviously Australia's defeat the other day in the Asia Cup. That was a really tough one. That wasn't a nice watch at all, especially when you get 3 Arsenal players in that team, and yeah, it wasn't a nice feeling to see them the way they were. BX has said, bring on Chelsea. Yes, definitely, and we will get into that one. Catherine has obviously said the same as what I said, 13 shots, 7 on target in the first half, up by 1 goal. And then we come out in the second half. We become so much better. So, Paul, obviously, it didn't take long in the second half to get that second goal, which comes from Alessia Russo. And it was, I would say it was a statement Alessia Russo header that we were so used to seeing her doing at Man U. And it also comes from a great assist from Smila Holmberg. And she had a really good game, didn't she? Smila, I thought, to get a full 90 minutes, to put in that kind of performance that she did. I think she had a really good game on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see her start a game. I was sort of expecting it to be in one of these sort of teams against games against the lower teams in the WSL, just to sort of get her into the groove of starting and playing the full 90 minutes. And yeah, it was a great cross from her straight in, and Alessia was just in the right place, and that's where we need her. Yes, she can play that number 10 role that we've discussed many times, but she is a striker. She's a number 9, first and foremost. And yeah, she was right in that box, right to receive it. And then, once that goal had gone in, then it was just West Ham almost gave up.
Yeah, I think by that point, West Ham kind of knew that there was no hanging on anymore. They tried their best. Kevin, we have been talking about the type of what's the word I'm looking for? The type of ball that Alessia Russo needs into the box for her to be able to score goals like that. You need someone with a good whip, the way obviously Smila had one on Saturday. Like, we talked a little bit about how Caitlin Ford was doing it at the Asia Cup for Samcare, and it just seems like those two have that really good relationship where Caitlin Ford knows where Samcare is going to be, and Alessia Russo hasn't really had that at Arsenal for her to get these kind of goals. But it just seemed like Smila knew where Alessia Russo was going to be every time that ball got whipped into the box, didn't she?
Well, I don't think it's as much that as the fact that Alessia knows where Smilla's going to put it, because she's got a lovely ball into the perfect area on edge of that six, or just inside the 6-yard box, and it's dropping in between the sticks. Because throughout this season, we've seen so many overhit crosses from McCabe, Ford, even Mido at times, because obviously Chloe hasn't been playing. Because if you look to the Lionesses, I mean, the Chloe Kelly, Alessia Russo link up for the crosses is good. So yeah, I think it's more to do with less knowing where Smilla's going to put the ball.
Yeah.
And whichever way round it is, I don't give a hoot. As long as they match up.
It landed on the right way, that's for sure, especially on top of Alessia Russo's head. But I just thought Smila was fantastic on Saturday, and to be honest with you, she was up there with one of my players of the match, and I just, every time I see her play, I just think, what a player we have in my hands. We were talking about it on one of the men's podcasts the other day, that like Max Dowman, such a young age, Smila Holmberg, such a young age. It's so good to see these two young players come through the way they're coming through, and obviously progress at Arsenal the way they're progressing. Amanda, we obviously seen Smila move into the wing when Emily Fox came on, which was very odd to me considering Beth Mead also came on. And at that point I was like, what's going to happen here? I'm assuming Smila's going to stay on the wing. Beth Mead, I really don't know where she's going to move to. Olivia Smith's obviously going to move into the striker's role. But even when she went into that winger's position, she just didn't look out of position, did she?
No, it was kind of weird actually, because they put on, all the subs came on when that West Ham player went down. A lot of subs happened, and it was like keeping track of it. But yeah, no, like you say, I've been dying to see her get more minutes. Holberg, I think she's amazing. I think she did so great, like you said, like a real good shout for player of the match. I think she's going to be an absolute superstar. I really think she's going to be amazing. I really think she's going to do it for us because, yeah, like you say, she just slotted in when she got moved around, no drama, and yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, for me, I think that especially a game like West Ham, that really should be where we should be using Smila Holmberg. Games like Leicester, West Ham, these smaller lower league teams that you should be able to turn around and say to the likes of Emily Fox, do you know what, you can take a rest today because we can rely on Smila to do that. We've seen what she can do. I just think with Smila, it's exciting that I'm really looking forward to seeing what she can bring. Obviously, going forward with Arsenal more and more as long as we have her, and may it be along my words today are just not coming off my tongue. It's may it be a long career at Arsenal, and hopefully we can keep her, and no big teams think they can fling this money at her and she's off before we know it. Paul, sticking on Alessia Russo, we have obviously seen Alessia Russo play a much deeper role this season in terms of playing for Arsenal. But for me, Alessia, we have said many times we prefer Alessia Russo in the striker's role, but to me it just seems like Alessia Russo's just happy to play anywhere on the pitch for Arsenal at the moment, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she seems to be enjoying herself there, and what I really do like is the versatility that Renee is getting into the squad in general. So yeah, we saw it against Man City, Lessie in the 10 with Smith in the 9, and then you've got the option to play Lessie in the number 9 with someone like Frida or Palova behind her. You know, there's all the different options, and I think as a squad in general, I think that's where Renee's looking to the future. So you haven't got the player, I play in this position and this position only. She wants to be able to adapt it. She wants to be able to, change things up, keep other teams guessing, and even make formational changes in the game without having to bring subs on. So I think that understanding that the players like Lessie, Olivia Smith, even Beth Mead, Chloe Kelly, the way they can all interchange, I think is fantastic. And if we can keep players like that, keep them playing, rotate them, occasionally, so you're doing something different. You're not doing the same. These are our starting 11. Oh, at the hour mark, we're going to make these 2 subs. 10 minutes later, we're going to make these 2 subs. Where it's predictable. So I think that's the way forward, and I think give it another season, sort of end of next season when Renee's had another couple of transfer windows, and we've said goodbye to a few of the players this year, brought in some new ones. I think that'll be absolutely fantastic for the team.
Yeah, see, this is the versatile thing with Arsenal at the moment. Like, you look at tomorrow's instance, like, we have a certain amount of players out, but when you actually look at Arsenal, usually going into a Chelsea game, my worry would be Leah Williamson's out, what we're going to do in the defence. Like, I would panic. Like, today, we obviously seen Olivia Smith. Like, we'll obviously get into that, but we see that Olivia Smith wasn't training with the team. You automatically get into panic mode, but when you look at how versatile players in Arsenal actually are, you actually start to say to yourself, do you know what? I'm not worried about that, because we have so many versatile players that could slot into that position, that could slot into this position, that could slot into that position. So I don't know about anybody else, but I'm genuinely not worried about who's out. My only worry is, as I says, and I will get into it when we go into the Chelsea game, is the defence, in terms of, will certain 2 defenders be able to handle tomorrow against Chelsea? But we've got other goals to talk about in the West Ham game before I move on to that. Kev, let's talk about Chloe Kelly. Chloe
Yes.
Kelly obviously comes up with the third goal, and what an absolute sensational strike that was from outside the box. I thought she took that really, really well. We know in the past couple of weeks, George has been highly critical of Chloe Kelly, but do you think this is Chloe Kelly finding her form again?
Yeah, and I've mentioned it on many posts on Facebook. It's Chloe Kelly getting back to her best at just the right time. She's taking people on, she's pinging balls around, and she's coming up with goals, which is what we've been waiting for. You know, I've been having a go at her during games. I'm in a London City. Could she not go past anybody? Could she not take anybody on? I think one of the other games as well. And then she came out at half time. She'd obviously been given a rocket, and she started going past people. But that's what she does. We know she can do it. She knows she can do it. It's just a case of getting the game time, getting the confidence back, and now she's just brimming. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if she rips people apart tomorrow night.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, if she had back to Smiller, if Chloe hadn't have been player of the match Saturday, I think Holmberg would have been.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, Amanda on the 80th minute, she grabs another one, capitalising on a mistake that Tuva Hansen makes in the box. And yeah, she obviously she scores the fourth one. What was your reaction to that when that ball again hits the back of the net from Chloe Kelly?
Oh, it was epic. It was an unfortunate mistake, obviously, from the West Ham defender, but when Chloe Kelly's on fire, you know, like she clearly is coming into it, and you can't really hand her a ball like that, because that's exactly what she's going to do with it. And I think everyone was like, you know, yeah, it was great. It was just great. And I completely agree with Kev. I think she's coming up to the boil exactly when we need her. And I think she's going to absolutely wipe the floor with Chelsea tomorrow, but we can obviously get to that.
Yeah. Obviously, I was talking about Tuva Hampton there. Tuva Hansen, Paul. Jesus Christ, I can't talk tonight. Tuva Hansen. Now, her rating on Footmob really, really surprised me. It was something like 3.4 rating or something. It was terrible. Now, that's a player that's came from Bayern Munich, winning trophies with Bayern, being in Champions League with Bayern, and then coming to West Ham and putting up a performance like that. Paul, that is just embarrassing, isn't it? Like,
no disrespect to West Ham, but when you're used to playing in the Champions League and at the top of the league in Germany, why would you come to a team that for the last few years has been scraping relegation battles year in, year out? Because, you know, they're on the current form, they're never going to be up there competing with the top four. They're not even close to it. So I don't know why she's made that move, but
if Catherine's still in the chat, Catherine will agree with me. When it was announced that she was leaving Bayern, I had obviously sent Catherine the screenshot and was like, this is really interesting. I think she would really fit in well as like one of the step-in subs for Arsenal, because if you look at her record in terms of what she's won and how she defended at Bayern, but was just unable to get into that team, it was genuinely one I was like, maybe Arsenal could be looking at this defender, because obviously we at the time we were thinking, what are Arsenal going to do when Steph Catley goes to the Asia Cup? What are they going to do? Are they going to bring in a defender to cover that or whatever? And then she goes to West Ham, and it just seems like I'm like, oh, maybe that was a good idea that we avoided that person, because when she's putting in performances the way she did on Saturday, it's very disappointing. And I just find that such a shame that such a good player like that has come up against Arsenal and then wasn't great. So obviously to round things off, Beth Mead then gets on the score sheet 10 minutes later after Chloe Kelly scores the fourth, and then Beth Mead makes it 5-0, which, Kev, people have been very, very critical of Beth Mead lately, haven't they? And I think for me that was a statement from Beth.
That was classic Meadow. Yeah, every defender in the land knows what she's going to do with that ball, and they can't stop her.
Yeah,
She's done it how many times? She didn't have the best start to the season, but she's been fairly solid throughout. And I just don't understand where all the hate comes from. You can't buy that level of commitment, no matter who you are. You cannot buy that level of commitment to the club. And she just proves time and time again that she's worth her wages.
no.
You just can't knock her. Although loads of people do. I'm not one of those.
I think for me, Kev, that at the end of the season, one of the hardest ones, if she does go, that if she leaves Arsenal, that is going to be one of the hardest ones to see going. I think, considering, I've said it many times, I think she's been up there with, in terms of not like playing wise and goals. Like, I'm not interested in goals in terms of Beth Mead providing that. That's the whole reason we put strikers on the park. But like, for me, she's been up there with Kimmy Little, just slightly behind Kimmy Little in terms of player of the season for us. And many people can criticise me for this if they want, or can criticise anybody who agrees with me. But if anybody else can tell me exactly who's just behind Kimmy Little in terms of player of the season for us, then I will take my Beth Mead comment back. For me, Beth has just slightly tipped it. And that's all I'm going to say. I really don't care what anybody else says. Don't disrespect the person who's given the amount of time to our club, the amount of energy that Beth Mead has given to our club, and not even just in terms of what she gives, it's what she has done for the club, and the disrespect I see on Twitter day in and day out. And not even just so much as they have the balls to tag Beth Mead's dad in it, which I just find disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the person. It's disrespectful to what Beth Mead has provided for Arsenal, and it just needs to stop. It's horrible. It's not a nice thing to see. There it is. Of course, again, it comes from another assist from Smila Holmberg, which was good to see.
17 points for my fantasy team. Still I go.
Well, my fantasy team is out the window because I stopped that about 6 months ago. I haven't changed it since. Paul, we will obviously come on to Sophie Harwood. I know a lot of people in the comments want to mention Sophie Harwood.
Send her forward.
Great to see her get the minutes and obviously get on at the Emirates, which must have felt amazing for her. But come on, you took Olivia Smith off to put Sophie Harwood, who's a defender, up front. What was Renee thinking?
Well, we have just been saying about versatility. So
come on.
No, I think it was great to see her get that, get those couple of minutes at the end of the game, and from the players' point of view, 5-0 up, you've got nothing to lose, right? Throw her on, get that big, ovation from the crowd, and just get that bit out of the way, because a young player like that, it could be quite daunting coming on in front of thousands of people, and just get that first one out the way, a few touches on the ball, doesn't really matter what you do. But yeah, it's great to see her. get those few minutes.
Yeah, Amanda, she's obviously another bright prospect coming through, isn't she? Like, always exciting to see some of the young talent coming through at Arsenal, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think like Paul said, if we'd have only been 1-0 up or something and that had happened, we would have been like, what the hell's going on? But like you say, gets her debut done, and yeah, hopefully that, you know, she can come on with some meaningful minutes and, you know, at some point in the future. But just,
Yeah.
I completely agree with you about Mido, by the way. I'm completely with you. The little move that led up to her goal, I think it was, Holberg was involved. I think Fox was involved as well. Then they were just playing this lovely little triangle, and then the goal. It was beautiful. Yeah, but no, I'm completely with you. She is Arsenal, one behind Kimmy, but still she's Arsenal.
I would like to see more of Beth Mead back in the 9, because that was Beth Mead's original spot before Viviana Miedema came in to play for Arsenal. That's where Beth played, and then of course Viv comes in, and that's where Viv wants to play, and then Beth has to adapt to go to a winger. So I'd actually really like to see Beth through the middle more again. I know we have tried it with Olivia Smith, but we've got to start using different things to throw off teams like Chelsea, to throw off teams like Man City. Like, these teams won't know what to do with us if we have all these players that keep switching positions, and they're going to be looking, thinking, where the heck is this person went? Paul, do you want to give me some comments, and I'll have a look through some things for moving on to Stamford Bridge.
Oh God, loads of comments.
Not Stamford Bridge, tomorrow at the Emirates. Sorry.
Yeah, loads of comments about Shmila being great. Harwood getting her debut. Yeah, loads of new. Oh yeah, Catherine said a new tactic from Rene, defending from the front. So
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Obviously, what I will touch on as well, there was a lengthy stoppage time of 15 minutes due to an injury to the West Ham defender, Eva Nystrom. So I do really hope she's okay and that she has a very speedy recovery, because that was a very, very long time for her to be down, and it was very scary. I also seen as well a Man City fan was in saying, better good luck next time, guys. We're not talking about the men. I don't know if you've seen it in anywhere. It's called the women's football chat show, like this. So yeah, we're talking about the women who won 5-0, by the way, against West Ham. But thank you for the comment. It's nice to see you. So it is. Yeah. You won't defeat us with your Man City comments. You're not welcome. I'm only kidding. So we'll move on to, obviously, the Champions League game against Chelsea at the Emirates tomorrow night. Amanda, Chelsea's form hasn't been great in recent weeks, especially in the WSL. And then, of course, we hear today that they only fielded 8 players in training. Are you confident enough that Arsenal will get the job done tomorrow?
Ridiculously confident. I think they had 8 out for training today, 2 of which were some of their academy kids as well. So I think they only had 6 like full-time proper. Obviously they've got a ton of injury problems, haven't they? If we show up and play like how we played on Saturday, then yeah, I'm confident, and I think we might actually batter them. I think we might do properly well. I'm more confident than I was like a month or so ago. I was probably a bit like, oh, geez, that'll be a sticky one. But I'm confident. I am. Maybe deluded, whatever. Confident.
You sound it. Yeah, you really sound it. Kev, we obviously seen today that, again, Leah Williamson is out. Obviously, we won't have Steph Catley, Caitlin Ford, or Kyra Cooney-Cross, which with the Aussies we're expecting, but Leah is a bit of a worry, isn't it? Like, that's an injury that's been niggling for a while, and it's become a bit of a worry, especially for tomorrow's game. And
yeah, I think we're going to be leaning very heavily on Lotta tomorrow night. Although, to be fair, Cody had a good game when called upon, and she didn't look as pedestrian as she has done recently. My only worry defensively would have been the speed of Thompson coming at us. But if she sticks to the correct side, Foxy will have her.
yeah,
But I have a feeling that they've got quite a few players doing personalised training, same as we had Libby doing her own training today. So I'd still expect them to put out a strongish side, but they got more defensive problems than we've got.
yeah. It's very hard one, isn't it, Paul? Especially when it comes to Leah Williamson. Do you think the club and Leah need to sit down and have a discussion in terms of how Leah's playing time goes for the rest of the season, or is it a case of maybe sitting her down and saying, listen, if this is consistently going to happen, then it is possibly going to lead to obviously surgery having to happen? Paul, what do you think about that regarding Leah?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this has been happening all season, hasn't it? She picked up that knock in the Euros for England, and then we didn't see her for most of the first half of the season, and very intermittent. It's one of those discussions the club really do need to sit down and have with her and decide what's the best long term for her. You know, are they just trying to get it to the end of this season, and then there's no internationals in the summer, and do some surgery then, just keep her going for that the next few games? But it's a little bit of a concern given that obviously we haven't got Steph available this week. We're literally relying on 2 central defenders, and I think that could be our only little weakness this week, especially
and Sophie Harwood. All right, Sophie Harwood.
Yeah. Okay, 2 experienced defenders there. If someone like Lotta picked up an injury in training sort of tomorrow morning or something, and you had to put Harwood in your starting lineup against Chelsea in a Champions League quarter-final, that could be a little bit daunting and a little bit of a risk. But yeah, it is a bit of a worry, especially Leah's a big player to be missing from that squad. But with no other injury worries, I'm not concerned. We beat West Ham 5-0. Let's make it 6-7 against Chelsea.
Yeah, as Mike has said there, Fox is pretty versatile. I reckon that she can maybe play in the middle if needed. I'm hoping so, Mike, because at this point, this is the only worry I have. As I said earlier on in the show, looking at Chelsea, I think we're one of the we're lucky. But looking at that defence, I really don't. That's what worries me the most. And then, of course, today, Amanda, we see today that Olivia Smith was obviously on. She was basically doing her own kind of training off the pitch, not with team. What was your initial thought on that, or were you worried? Were you all right? Were you thinking, Jesus Christ, what's going on there?
At first I thought, oh Jesus, because I think we're all right, and the squad that started Saturday was brilliant. But like Paul said, like one injury, you don't want the house of cards to come falling down. But apparently she was just off doing individual training. I don't really know what that means. Maybe it means she does extra special stuff. I have no idea. But as far as we know, she ain't injured. So let's hope she's fit enough to start. But yeah, Like, you just don't want to hear about any injuries in, like, you know, someone going down the warm-up tomorrow before the match or something, do you? Because then you do think, you know, we're on thin ice, really. But yeah, fingers crossed everyone stays fit and healthy.
I wasn't too worried when I seen that statement today, simply because there was other people obviously saying that Renee had confirmed that Leah was out, Steph was out, Caitlin was out, Kyra was out, and then of course I seen, well, Olivia's also not training today, and my immediate thought was, well, nothing's really been said about Olivia not actually being able to not even be on the bench tomorrow. Like, it was just basically saying she's doing individual stuff. She's okay. Like, so I don't know where people got that Olivia Smith wasn't going to be playing tomorrow, because nothing was confirmed whatsoever, and till tonight, still nothing has been confirmed that Olivia Smith will not, possibly not even feature on the bench. So I don't know. And maybe is it Renee playing a little bit of mind games like Sonia Trunapasta is doing, as George calls her, that she's doing, and that's why she only fielded 8 players today for training. But yeah, it's Arsenal and Chelsea, and there's going to be mind games back and forth in terms of who's injured, who's not injured, who's going to start, who's not going to start. It's the dark arts of football, unfortunately. Kev, are you confident in Lotte Wibbenmoy tomorrow and Coddy to get the job done defensively?
Yeah, I am. Obviously, they've got to keep that tricky little Lauren James under control, but then that's probably going to be part of Kimmy's job as well. So, yeah, keep her under wraps. I mean, let's face it, the job Lotte does on Bunny Shaw, she can handle anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, Renee's still got the option of either Taylor Hines or Katie McCabe on the left. Depends whether she's going for pace or fight.
That was also another weird one on Saturday as well. Sorry, I'm kind of going backtracking on Saturday. Kate McCabe in midfield.
Yeah.
She came on from Mariona.
Yeah.
Kate McCabe in midfield.
Bit of extra bite.
Quite different styles, though.
Very different.
Beautiful, silky, wonderful player, and then Katie McCabe's going to beat up your dad in midfield. Yeah.
I know, when I hear that song, I cringe. I absolutely cringe when they start chanting that song. She'll beat up your dad. She'll beat up your dad.
I love it. Makes me chuckle every time.
I'm like, she's not going to beat up anyone's dad. Like, Katie plays. Dorian has said that Katie plays in midfield for Ireland, but yeah, is she not more of a winger for Ireland though? She's more of a winger, I think, for Ireland than she is a midfielder. Like, she was actually playing central midfield. Crazy. Who was the last question to there? I went off track. Paul, this is obviously the usual two-legged tie. We know what Arsenal can be like in the Champions League when it comes to two-legged ties, okay? We know that the first one could possibly go wrong, and then they go out fighting in the second half. How do you think Arsenal approach tomorrow? Do you think they go out and just kill the game in the first leg, or play it safe and then take it to Stamford Bridge?
I think they've got to go out there and just get the job done. Play it as if it's a cup final. We're going on the back of some couple of great results. Chelsea are down. Chelsea have, they've got players missing that could potentially, some of them, be back next week. So just go out there, get the job done, just keep up the momentum, and let's batter Chelsea, let's batter Spurs next week, then Chelsea again next week after that. Just go for it.
That could be a good few games, couldn't it? Yeah, as you touched on there, Paul, I think we need to go and show a big statement tomorrow, because going to Stamford Bridge, they're going to have players like Stam Kerr back. They're going to have players like Ellie Carpenter back. Yeah, I don't know who else at that point they'll have back, but they will have players back that could possibly cause Arsenal a bit of hassle. Again, not that I'm too worried about Sam Kerr and Ellie Carpenter, because we know Caitlin Ford did it at Stamford Bridge earlier in the season. I think she tore Ellie Carpenter apart. Sam Kerr, not really been in form for Chelsea this season, hasn't really kicked on since her ACL, which we know can be a really tough thing to come back from when you have an injury like that. But she's not the Sam Kerr that we are once so used to fearing coming up against us in terms of facing Arsenal in games. Kevin, I'll obviously come to you. We saw Beth Mead at Stamford Bridge cause Chelsea a little bit of trouble. Do you think we start her tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, I think the thing with Livy Smith doing her own training is a loading issue. They're trying not to overload her workload, which is why she was training away from the main squad. So it's quite possible we see Chloe one side, Beth the other tomorrow night. I mean, I wouldn't preempt Renee at all, but given what happened at Stamford Bridge, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
And like I say, she's got options back again now, because obviously Frida's recovered from her illness. So, yeah, top end, we're looking good.
Yeah. Hopefully, Caitlin Ford obviously as well had a really good tournament at the Asia Cup, and hopefully, of course they didn't win the final, but hopefully Caitlin can come back with a little bit more confidence, and we can see the best in Caitlin Ford as well when she is back. Just as I say, sometimes a final like that can maybe tip them the other way in terms of knocking their confidence. Now, Amanda, I'm going to give you the very, very tough question here. Now, we have seen Bobby just tip to the number one shot at the moment. Do you think her or DVD start tomorrow?
Bobby, definitely, 100%. I think she's played a couple of blinders, and I think she's gelled well with the back line as well. So yeah, that's my call.
Yeah,
Kepper at the end.
Oh my goodness, yes. Did you see that? I think, it was Kadina that got her out of it. I think she literally cleared it off the line, but she literally she was floundering around for space, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's still learning. But Catherine, if you're still in the chat, maybe you can correct me on this. But is it something like 9 clean sheets out of 12 or 13 games that Bobby has kept? I'm waiting on Catherine's stats. What did I say Saturday? Something like 10 clean sheets in her 15 matches now. Something like that. So, yeah, and then, of course, Dorian gives us I think Dorian just likes to play with us sometimes. Whatever we say in the show, Dorian goes the other way. He says always DVD, which would be really interesting to hear why you say that, Dorian, especially when DVD has been out for so long at the moment. And I personally still think DVD isn't back to her full potential in terms of her injury. I still think she's maybe carrying a little bit of niggle, and that's why she hasn't came back into the squad like we thought she would come back. He says it's because she's significantly better goalkeeper. Kev, would you agree with that?
Not at the moment, no. She's got the bigger experience levels. But you are talking about two quality goalkeepers. One's got the shirt at the moment. So, yeah, I might expect to see Daff in the North London derby.
Yeah. Catherine has come back with a stat of 9 and 15 appearances. Most she's conceded is 2 against Corinthians. Now, that's a really interesting stat. And it would have been really interesting to see how Daffing would have been able to handle a game like the Corinthians game. Especially after Bobby, obviously, near enough gets her neck snapped and she's back 2 weeks later. So it is. But yeah. Bobby has only played easier teams. Was Kelsey an easier team?
Yeah.
Before we went to that game, would you say Chelsea was an easier team? Yeah.
That was the start of their downfall.
Got you a little bit stumped here, didn't I? Yeah. I think the goalkeeper debate can go on all night long in terms of who we want as our number one. Right now, I just think Bobby tips it at the moment. I genuinely think she commands a box a whole lot better than Daphne does. I think sometimes Daphne gets a little bit shy to shout at players like Leah Williamson and Steph Catley and things like that, is whether I think Bobby just kind of is like, out the way, I'm coming up and I'm getting in there for that ball, and that's it. No one else is getting it. Me. That's all. So, Kev, what is your starting 11 for tomorrow?
Borba, Hines, Cody, Rubenboy, Fox.
No choice.
No. Kim, Mario, and I hate to say it, but
Georgia Stanley.
less in the 10. Chloe, Beth, and Stina. Then it gives you the option. It gives you the options then to change it up if you need to. Or not if you need to, but when you feel like it. Because when we're 2-3-0 up at half time, give somebody else a chance to score.
Paul, it's going to be a case of, you know how when we look back at Chelsea games and you think Chelsea have the much more superior bench, as it's tomorrow, it's going to be Arsenal have the much more superior bench, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that game at Stamford Bridge a few weeks ago, when you looked at our bench and you've got sort of 2 goalkeepers and academy players on it, and we couldn't even fill the bench. And Chelsea are bringing on players like Kira Walsh and people. You're like, yeah, wow, that's the difference. But then we went and got the result, so it didn't really matter. But now the tables are turned. So if we can do that with, we had a strong starting 11, just nothing to back it up. Now we've got backup as well. Like, nothing can stop us. Yeah.
Amanda, do you agree with Kev's lineup, or do you want to change it and put anybody else in? Or
I'd probably let's assume that Liv's fit. We're going to put Liv up front, keep Stina as a sub. But apart from that, yeah, I think I probably agree. Yeah.
And of course, before we end the show, we will move on to predictions for tomorrow. Amanda, you want to kick off that prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for us. Chloe Kelly gets another couple.
I thought you were going to say another hat trick there.
No. If she gets a hat trick, it'll be 4.
Yeah. Kev?
I might give them a goal. I'll say 4-1. And obviously, my girl's going to get another one with her nut.
As long as Mila Holmberg's on, then I'm sure that will happen, Kev. So, well. And Paul, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
I'm going to go right out there and say we're going to get 6. Let's go. Yeah, 6-0, and Holmberg's going to get her debut goal.
Jesus Christ, Paul.
You said I was deluded.
And my husband is just deluded. My husband is just deluded as Paul.
But we are champions of Europe, so why not? And Chelsea aren't. Simple as that.
And what else, Paul?
Sorry.
What else are we? You said we're champions of Europe. What else are we?
Oh, we might be world champions as well, but we don't like to brag about it.
Yeah. I am going to go for a 3-0 win. And I think I'm going to go all out and say Mariona's going to get the first goal.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, I do. I think there'll be a nice little strike from Mariona just on the edge of the box. Yeah. So that is my score prediction. If anybody else has got score predictions for tomorrow, then let us know. As I say, James has went for 5-0, depending on the attacking situation. Steiner or Russo for the first goal. Sit back, 2-1, Steiner winner. How did you go from 5-0 there to 2-1 and then a Steiner? Doesn't make sense. Mike has went for a 3-1. He's went for McCabe, Russo, Mido, and then of course Lauren James has scored Chelsea's. Catherine has said smashing 4-0 win to the Arsenal. Beth Mead masterclass with 3 goals involvements and Russo with a brace. Yeah. Any more before we move on? Hadchad has said 3-1 to the Arsenal. And yeah. And yes, Gav, we are champions of Europe. So we are. I notice you're not in our chat tonight. So obviously that is us for the end of the show. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe to all the channels, obviously, that's linked to tonight's show, which is the Arsenal Women's chat show. I was going to say the Women's Football Chat Show, which is our new show, by the way, if anybody hasn't realised it, there is a new channel out there, and if you could go and like and subscribe to that one as well. There'll be content coming out on that across the whole of women's football, not just from an Arsenal perspective. It will be Scottish football, American football, internationals, everything like that. That's what's obviously going to be across that brand new channel. Of course, we are on the Mr. Arsenal podcast over at Ryan's channel, and then the Highbury Fans Forever channel as well. So go and subscribe to all them. Make sure you like and comment and stuff. And obviously, before I go, I have to say a really big thank you to all my guests tonight. Which, if it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't have shows week in, week out. So, Kevin, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's always appreciated when you're in.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. If I can talk Arsenal, in particular Arsenal women, then I'll do it all day long.
Why not? Amanda, thank you very much again for coming on. It's always appreciated as well.
Thank you. I'm starting to get into it now.
Yeah, you get used to it, and then you get a wee bug that you want to do all the shows on it.
Yeah.
Check your schedule to make sure you're free. So yeah. And Paul, as always, thank you very much again for coming on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm missing a few games, so actually being there, so yeah, it's good to sort of catch up and chat about it.
Yeah, obviously before we go, Kev, you at tomorrow's game, yeah?
Yes, I might be a bit wet, but I'll be there.
Your wife is allowing you out, your missus is allowing you to go, yeah?
Sort of.
Amanda, are you at the game tomorrow?
I am, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, just make sure we're loud and proud, guys, because we need to hear you over the TV. Not that Chelsea will have any fans there anyway, so I'm not worried about that one. And yeah, of course, thank you to everybody for watching and getting involved in the comments as usual. It's been a crazy one tonight, and the comments, they've just, I seen them at one point just scrolling. And as I says, don't forget to obviously like, subscribe, and share the channels. And all it's left to say is good night, and come on, you Gunners.